California is committed to a sustainable, low-carbon, and healthier future for its residents, while maintaining a robust economy. California's Sustainable Agriculture Lands Conservation Grant Program supports this vision of agricultural conservation, economic growth, and sustainable development. Still, more than 1 million acres in California were lost to urban land uses and development from 1984 to 2008. Up to 70 times more greenhouse gas emissions come from urban land uses as compared to agriculture. So open space preservation could have the single greatest impact in absorbing carbon emissions. Today, Contra Costa County has over 25,000 acres of farmland. Stewarding agricultural lands and the state's invaluable natural resources is not only central to maintaining our economic vitality, it is also key to meeting our climate goals. The loss of prime farmland could challenge California's economic health. Using climate-smart land management practices can address these challenges by storing carbon in plants and the soil. Contra Costa's farmers, ranchers, urban landscape managers, and tree stewards can help identify opportunities for catching carbon, preserving open space, and conserving natural resources. Management practices and policies emerging from your community's participatory input could lead to healthier families, healthier lands, and a healthier Contra Costa. In this video, we are going to show carbon storage opportunities in rangelands, croplands, and urban ag lands, and the relationship between carbon sequestration and climate change. This graph shows immensely increasing carbon emissions globally, and this project is one opportunity to promote land management that increases carbon storage locally. Potential for long-term impacts from climate change are massive if we do not take action to increase carbon capture rapidly. Nearly a third of Contra Costa County is rangeland. This comprises 149,000 acres of grasslands, oak woodlands, shrubland, and some wetlands. These areas are forage for about 18,000 head of cattle each year, providing watershed habitat for native plant and animal species. Because rangelands in Contra Costa County and throughout California are so extensive, even a small rate of carbon sequestration and emission reduction could make significant contributions to the state's climate mitigation goals. Management may make a difference to ensure that rangelands are carbon sinks and a source of carbon for healthy plants and soils. To increase carbon storage in rangeland soils, it's best to manage grazing. This is done, for example, by managing time of grazing, stocking rate, and grazing distribution to keep grass growing and minimize bare ground. Grazing practices also have the benefit of reducing fuel loads and greenhouse gases to keep carbon in the ground and in the plants. Thus, reducing fuel loads is important to prevent catastrophic fire events. Wildfire emits CO2 and other greenhouse gases, as well as particulate matter. Rangeland managers can also prevent conversion of grasslands to brush. Brush substantially alters habitat and increases fire fuel loads. When possible, applying compost can capture carbon, particularly on grazing land that is degraded from plowing or other extensive disturbance. One of the most critical actions to improving carbon storage and the environment is protecting rangeland and surrounding riparian areas. These areas are providing tons of carbon sequestration. Restoration of rangelands bordering riparian areas has multiple ecosystem benefits and are essential to preserving biodiversity. Croplands in Contra Costa comprise a variety of systems, including orchards, row crops, vineyards, and small diversified farms. There are many crop management practices that support a healthier ecosystem and carbon sequestration. This includes reducing tillage and avoiding soil disturbance whenever possible. Other practices include cover cropping, that is, planting non-harvested crops that are returned to the soil to build organic matter. Cover cropping is being adopted by more and more farmers in Contra Costa, and there are resources available from University of California Cooperative Extension's video series, Cover Cropping Opportunities in Specialty Crops. Applying compost to land is another beneficial practice that directly improves soils and can contribute to carbon sequestration. Carefully managing fertilizer applications is another practice that has benefits for production and can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Planting perennial crops or border plants are other on-farm practices that can contribute to climate goals. Finally, exhaust emission can be eliminated or reduced by replacing agricultural machinery with more efficient, low-emission alternatives that lower greenhouse gas, fine particulate matter, and nitrogen oxides, as well as reducing fuel usage. Farm and ranch owners, managers, operators, and agricultural workers can receive funds for equipment and management practices that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. There are many opportunities for Contra Costa cities and their residents to store carbon and improve their local ecosystem within the urban built environment. One of the best examples of this is the transformation of underutilized land into urban agriculture and green spaces. Ray Hartz with Healthy Hearts Institute in Pittsburgh, California, transformed an underutilized El Pueblo housing baseball field into an urban farm that produces hundreds of pounds of produce. One carbon storage practice he used was cover cropping through broadcasting seeds like fava beans, peas, clover, and vetch. The cover crops on the farm created a green landscape while building healthy, nutritious soil. Mowing down the cover crop, spreading organic compost, and incorporating plants into the soil stores a lot of carbon, along with other nutrients that future plants are going to be able to use. The Ambrose Community Garden in Bay Point provides community members space to grow their own culturally relevant foods. Practices that they implement include composting and using compost for their eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, and on their grape plants. Urban Tilth was founded in 2005 in Richmond and became Contra Costa County's first permanent urban farm in 2021. Urban Tilth helps the community grow its own food, trains and employs young people as homegrown experts. It also teaches local residents about the connections between food, health, poverty, and justice, and bridges partnerships with local small farmers to increase demand for their produce. Healthy soil and carbon sequestration practices that they implement include composting both on farm plants and green products. They also have a rain barrel that captures rainwater from the roof and stores it for later use, which prevents runoff soil degradation and helps conserve water. Along the perimeters of the farm and on the edges of rows, you can also find hedgerows and diverse beneficial plants. These practices serve multiple benefits, including storing carbon, improving the soil nutrient and water holding capacity, as well as benefiting pollinators. Urban gardens like this one have become one of the few remaining spaces for pollinator habitats in urban built environments. The Creek Center in Crockett serves as a safe refuge for pollinators, like the monarch butterfly caterpillars. Through native plant sales, it distributes thousands of plants that further help improve urban environments. The Richmond Dry Garden, managed by the Contra Costa Master Gardeners, is a great example of how public spaces can grow into beautiful gardens that serve multiple purposes. This garden has a diversity of native plants that are adapted to California's climate. These plants, once established, don't require irrigation, but yet still grow and store carbon in soil. Plus, they produce beautiful flowers. Similarly, greenways, trails, and creeks can also be enhanced to store carbon and maximize their role in the carbon, water, and nitrogen cycles. By working together, Contra Costa residents can better manage and steward the land. The Richmond Greenway is a great example of an area that is used for recreation and exercise, picnic space, greenway community gardens, a healthy creek, pollinator habitat, and much more. Climate-smart agriculture and landscape technical assistance programs helps farmers, ranchers, and land stewards access various resources, including future allocations to the Healthy Soils Program, HSP, and State Water Efficiency and Enhancement Program, SWEEP. Share your thoughts and help Contra Costa County identify opportunities for catching carbon, preserving open space, and conserving natural resources. Reach out to us if you'd like more support and information. There's funding available for ecosystem services, potential for new programs and policies, plus lots of room for more innovative ideas.